Okay, we got good stuff today. We've got the new robo taxi. We've got AI flops and AI new capabilities and all kinds of stuff.
And your
That was the
personal
best intro
information is
I've
at
ever.
risk.
Well, it always has been, but really now, yeah.
Yeah. All right, let's get started.
Cool, cool.
All right. So, highlights of the week. It was Elon week. I'm sure you
Elon,
heard some of the things that happened with Elon, but it was pretty intense. Did you catch up on any of it? You kind of stayed under the radar.
no.
Okay, cool. He had his event on Thursday evening, and they unveiled the robo taxi and the robo van. And the robo taxi looks like a Tesla with the lights of a Cybertruck, so it looks super slick. I want one so bad. And but it's full self-driving, so it's got like a 24-inch or so screen in the middle of the console, but there's no steering wheel, no buttons because the screen would have the controls for AC and other things like that. No window controls, no pedals. So if you're in the front seat, it feels almost like the back seat with a big view of the front because you don't have any controls. Um, but that's super slick. And then the Robo Van is it's basically like a bus. It seats, I guess, up to 20 people, and they both look very futuristic, or at least 80s futuristic. So it's a style, but honestly, I like the Robo Taxi look for sure. But yeah, and then within like 60 hours of that, just like yesterday or the day before, they successfully caught a over 200-ton super heavy booster. So basically like a rocket booster that they launched up. So it was this Starship Test Launch 5 and it was successful and that was awesome. And then the booster came down and it's, insane. It's ginormous. It's 15 stories tall. And as it was coming down, they're able to, catch it on a tower. So it had little like hooks on the side and it landed on these like chopstick arms of a tower. And so it was intense. There was a lot of crowds of cheering people and it was very exciting. So that one's kind of blowing up right now. But both, the cars will definitely be integrated with AI and such. Both are like immediate AI updates, but they're pretty insane for Elon Musk. And as far as the cars go, they talked about how they should be getting cheaper and cheaper because if AI computing, if you need less and less power to achieve more and more in AI computing, and the AI can handle all of the navigation and all things like that, then self-driving cars specifically should get cheaper and cheaper because if it's just a computer driving your car and that computer can get cheaper and cheaper and yet still get better and better, then cars can be cheaper and cheaper. So they talked about their new cars being under 30,000 eventually or hopefully soon because of being able to lower prices more and more, which is cool and a good use of AI computing. I feel like anything that's run by a computer should be getting hopefully cheaper and cheaper and not just more advanced. So, but it was crazy. Yeah. Big
Wild.
Elon week, just making giant leaps. Cause he talked about this in the past, he talked about this like a decade ago, but he thinks that the future of space travel is basically only if we can master reusable rockets. But
Dang,
yeah,
crazy.
yeah, crazy stuff. And then with
Awesome.
the cars too, it's just like the future is here. So
That's wild to hear that the you say robo bus, right? That's wild to hear that it can hold that
robo
many
van.
passengers.
Yeah.
Robo van, that's what it is.
Well,
Yeah.
if you think about it, it looks almost like a train. Like we got just seats. So, you walk in through the middle and there's seats
Yeah.
facing each other. And then, so it's like
Yeah.
two and one or something. So you can go back to the back row and then four more seats. So you kind of have all the seats. But I guess that there's probably another seat or two in the front and maybe you're able to even like stand or something. So it says it fits 20. I would say it fits like, 12 or 14 comfortably or something. But for
Sure.
those, youth group camping trips or the football team or something like that. It's cool to have an option. And of course, it's electric. I don't think that one's self-driving, but I guess if it's a Tesla, then it's possible that it has some of those features built in as well.
That's
So,
crazy. Imagine not needing to have a driver's license and not needing to pay for driver's insurance,
yeah. Yeah. Uh-huh.
or at least paying a lot
That'd
less
be
because
great.
cars are way more reliable. Because a
Sure.
computer, I'm sure they'll be able to in the near future create a computer that drives better than me or other average human beings, right? So
Right, but then I feel like it'd be two different types of licenses because I feel like if you'd still, they'd want to charge maybe even more if you're getting a license to drive a car that you have to drive, because then you're even
sure, right.
less
I'm just saying if you
reliable
didn't have
compared
to,
to a lot of the cars. But if you don't have to
sure.
and you're like, hey, all I have is this car that drives itself, can I get the, $10 a
I think
month
insurance
version?
companies will incentivize that. Will be
Yeah,
like, hey, you're gonna pay a whole lot more for insurance if you don't use these
right?
self-driving cars.
Maybe.
That's
But yeah, they
funny.
also talked about
Yeah.
how, how many hours a week the car sits in your garage or in your driveway and isn't used.
Oh,
And
sure.
if it's a self-driving car that can be used by several people, or actually operate as a taxi in a downtown area or something and just be constantly moving, then the
That's like any ride
be a
sharing
lot
thing,
more
though,
efficient.
pretty much.
It,
I don't know.
it is, yeah.
It
But when
is
they're
better, I
driving
guess, but
themselves, it's 24/7. So,
yeah.
but yeah.
Dude, interesting. Um, do you know at all like when or where they plan on trying these out for the first time as far as
As always, Texas and
like when are
California,
like
they're able to actually get regulate
I was gonna say what are
permission
the
there.
laws that are gonna let them
Yeah,
actually have
yeah.
these?
Well, because I think more than anything, because of weather, there's no snow there. It's a lot easier to just
Hmm.
get permission to unleash it then. So it's just releases over 2025 and 2026 for these things. So, but
Wild.
yeah. And so for the event, they had a bunch of people there and then they got to get in the cars and test drive the robo taxi and check out the robo van and stuff. And then when you drive around, they also had some like police looking cars and all of them were cyber trucks and they looked so cool. They're like these black cyber trucks with the lights of course across the front that make it look like police car. It got the symbols and stuff, but they're all cyber trucks, so it looks so futuristic. Anyway, but
Hmm.
yeah.
Fun.
Yeah, no,
Crazy.
just big for Elon Musk and of course current current government isn't talking about it at all or thanking them, but if the tech world is like Elon is insane. Someone was like talking about he's like I'm over here posting memes on X and Elon just like did both of these things and I'm like I got to do something with my life. I'm
Oh
like
my
dude
gosh.
same. What am I doing?
That's great.
Anyway, yeah.
That's great.
So side tangent, quick callback to your
Yeah.
notebook LM last week.
Yeah.
My wife used it for school and she added several files at once and was still able to generate a podcast from it that would just talk to her about the information in an interesting way. So she didn't have to read all of them. And it's not necessarily fully trustworthy as far as it could get information wrong or summarize it badly, but I think in general for a podcast you can get the gist of these things you're supposed to read well. But then she's able to like sew or something while it's playing, so that's cool. And then create a little quiz at the end to test herself on it. So her
Wow,
as
that's
well as
awesome.
her class now all know about that. So
She told
it's pretty
her
cool.
class.
Yeah, she jumped on the group chat because I guess she has a group chat of at least most of the class, and so she jumped on and she was like, "You guys should check out this tool." So
What the heck? That's awesome.
yeah, spreading the
Hooray
word.
for AI Mondays,
Yeah, I know,
forcing
right?
me to learn things. It's great.
Pretty cool.
Cool.
I have another thing. I'm gonna take up some more time. Did you
Okay.
see GPT 4.0 with Canvas?
No, the
Okay,
Canvas. Canvas like
with
the
Canvas.
school?
No,
Oh, I thought
no.
you meant like the other platform. Like, what would it do with Canvas? Canvas is the worst.
Canvas is not the
Gotcha.
worst.
Canvas is too the worst.
The school platform
Yes, it's awful, and I hate it.
compared to other school platforms, no. I mean, that's what we were using at the end of my schooling, and it was great.
All right,
Olivia's school
cool.
just moved over from something else to Canvas because it's a lot easier to use.
I guess I
So
was spoiled and I didn't know it. I just don't like it, but that's all good. Good, good, good. Excellent.
no,
Maybe it's the PTSD from the boring classes.
yeah,
Like bad
no, the classes
associations.
are
Anyway,
boring.
GPT-4 with Canvas. Tell me about it.
So this is GPT 4.0 with Canvas,
Okay.
and it's pretty cool. I am never going to use it. But I like the idea. You type in a chat at the beginning. It looks like a normal new chat, and then the chat moves over here and it starts creating this little thing for you. And then on top of, I mean, like the main difference is that you can actually edit it. So I could just, I could have it say something else. You can also like ask ChatGPT, or you can go to the end of something and I could say like summarize this into I don't know, one sentence, and then it'll be over here where you asked it to do that, and then it'll read it and just summarize it real quick. So it's kind of cool
Yeah.
formatting and different stuff. It's slick. I want this integrated into a better writing tool like Google Docs or something, and they already are kind of doing that. But I want something this slick and this smooth integrated into something that looks better and is easier to use, because I don't actually care to have my notes on this. But
Hmm.
overall, it's pretty fun. You can like add emojis. It adds way too many. Watch this. Add emojis, because it just adds an emoji. At least when I tried it, yeah. After like every single word that has an
Oh,
emoji
wow.
attached to it. But you can also do other things. You can like reading level, move it up to higher reading levels
Huh.
or lower reading levels, which is kind of fun. Same with the
That's
length,
pretty slick.
final polish. But yeah, stopped editing. Um, but yeah, no, so it's pretty cool. So I was just like, hey, Notebook LM and Big Elon, ChatGPT. I figured I'd show this while I was going, because it wasn't interesting enough to get its own segment. But this Chinese startup open sourced their robot, and it's able to do quite a bit of things. So it's kind of a cool thing for the robot world, the robot community. Not as
Robot.
cool as Elon's robots, though. I guess that's the other thing that he unveiled at his event that I didn't really mention, because it was showing what was already announced another day. But his Optimus robot is actually like coming out for release, kind of, and it's super fluid, super awesome. And then at the event, they had the Optimus robot serving drinks and stuff. So it's like behind the bar, filling up drinks and chatting with the people. They had, of course, different outfits on and stuff, but people were
What the
having
heck?
conversations with the robots. But it was pretty cool. They're all walking around and just interacting with the people, and it's a lot more fluid and human than it was in the past. But again, they kind of announced that in the past. This is just finally them getting to what they've announced. But still. But anyway, yeah. No, this is another cool new feature of ChatGPT 4.0. If anyone cares to check it out and try it, I don't think I'll use it very much. Well, I think that's actually it for all of my main updates.
Awesome. Do we do artificial intelligence first, or do we do
It's
the
up to
dark side
you.
of AI?
The dark side of AI is not as dark as yours was last
The
time.
last
So it's
one?
not ending on
Well,
a bad
good, because
note
that was
as
kind of
much. Yeah.
sad.
That was just
Good,
like,
good,
oh,
good.
goodbye, listeners.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, no, this one's just kind of, this is more of a how it could be used in a bad way, but currently is being used to prevent that.
Yeah. Okay.
Why, oh why, oh why, oh why, oh why?
Well, I had fun. You gave me the unintelligence one
I
this week,
signed you
and
that. Yeah.
you assigned me. Thank you. Yes. And I was looking through, just lists of AI fails and like recruiting AI as the people unleashed that only selected male applicants and like, for
Hmm.
jobs and like um just some pretty terrible mishaps. Like the Zillow one where their AI was supposed to find houses for them to buy and then so that they could flip them. And it ended up being just cost them, I believe, hundreds of millions of dollars.
Wow.
Just because the AI didn't factor in things like COVID and it wasn't actually as smart about the prices as they wanted it to be. So it ended up buying houses for more than they should have been. Anyway, Super interesting. Oh man, I feel like there were more of them that stuck out to me. The discrimination ones are pretty sad to me, just like the AI that has discriminated by people's age, or they tried to put a bunch of information into this AI bot. People probably saw this a while ago. Google tried to unleash this little AI character for social media that was supposed to have the personality of a 19-year-old girl. So they fed it a bunch of like information, but they basically made it so other people could get in and feed it information, which was not great. So you can imagine that went very quickly downhill and just so many awful tweets and racist comments. And yeah, it's crazy. Turns
Is
out
this the dark
people
side of
are
AI?
human beings. No, this isn't the dark side. This is all the fails that I saw. And it's not, like some of it's AI hallucinating it, but a lot of times when AI flops, it's because there are people behind it and people are people. And it's like,
Mhm.
yeah, okay. But anyways, the one that stuck out to me that I was going to highlight today was more recent. It was at least this year. Not all of those ones were this year, but it was back in June though. And there was a movie that was gonna be premiering in London. Um, but the thing with the movie was it was written entirely by, or at least credited the writing entirely to ChatGPT 4.0. So I don't know about you. Would you go to a movie that you knew was written by a chatbot?
Absolutely.
Yeah?
But I'd
Yeah?
have different expectations.
Sure. Fair enough. Fair enough. Well, it was supposed to be, so the movie itself was called The Last Screenwriter, and it was about this guy who was a screenwriter, wrote movies, and he realized that, he basically runs into this AI screenwriting tool, and he slowly realizes that it's as good as him, as good at his job as he is, and maybe even better. And it understands human emotions better than he does, and he's kind of having his world crumbling around him as the AI becomes more powerful at what he does. So anyway, it's kind of funny. It's a movie written by AI about a movie writing AI. I would have been curious, but I also totally understand the backlash. So they announced this, they started to promote it, and then over this 24-hour period, I believe they got 200 complaints from people saying that's awful, that we don't want to support a movie that's written by AI that's taking away all these writers' jobs. It's funny because like it could have been a cool thing, and of course there were lots of humans involved, right? It wasn't just spit out by
Hmm.
a machine, but it was they called it the first film written entirely by AI. And when people heard that, it was just this instant no, 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 no. So anyway, it's kind of crazy because they ended up canceling the premiere, and they like showed it to like a little small group of people who, got to go and see it, but they canceled the big release of it in this theater because everyone was freaking out about it. So, I mean, like, is that artificial intelligence or is that human intelligence or where is
Hmm.
that going to go? I don't know. But for a first try of having a movie written by AI, people were not okay with it. And part of the big writers' strike, they were demanding more protection around stuff like that, around not losing
It's
their jobs to
ridiculous.
these AI machines. You think
Grow
so? You
up.
think it's
I think
ridiculous?
so. I think so. I don't think we should have limitations on what kind of art or media you can create just because people are worried that it's going to steal their job. Like, we will never
Hmm.
innovate. Because, I mean, like, yes, sure. Like, obviously, the content you produce and standards like that. But, like, if it's bad, people make fun of it. If it's good and it's better than what you produce, that means you are no longer the best in your industry, and you can either learn to use the new tool or you can go somewhere else. I think that people are too afraid because I think that human art will always have more. I think people will start to appreciate flaws that they find in human art more than artificial ones, although that's currently kind of reversed. And I think that there will always be a difference between the two, and people will always want to go see movies and content made by humans. But I don't think that we should limit other people from creating content themselves. And maybe they didn't draw it themselves or they didn't write it themselves, but they created it using the tools that they had at their disposal. It's not like they
Sure,
stole it from anyone else either, although I guess they might debate that because it's made with AI. So, but
sure.
I think all in all, that actually sounds like a. I would take the side of the AI create or the people using AI on that one. a lot more
Well,
easily
part of
because
the
people
agreement.
boycotting it. I mean, if they're boycott it and they try to start a whole movement towards no one watching it, okay. But I don't think that they should
Sure.
push for its like complete removal or anything like that. I think the people should have still premiered it or released it like they were going to, because
Hmm.
I don't think they should have been forced to halt that because I don't know. That's just people forcing it because they're worried about the future that's going to happen, whether they want it to or not. So
Interesting. Part of the agreement ended up that AI can still be used to generate scripts, but writers get the credit for the work. Just like you're saying, they're using the tools.
yeah, yeah, exactly. You
So
don't have to
that's
say the
yeah.
movie created by AI. That's like saying an entire movie shot on an iPhone. It's like this is the tool that I use. You don't have to give the iPhone or Apple the credit. It's still the person behind the camera. It's still the person behind the tool. But obviously, AI is a much easier tool to create something like that. But yeah. So maybe that was their flaw, was their messaging of it, because they should have just said, "We made it. AI's a tool that we used a lot during
Honestly,
the
I
making
kind
of
of
it."
wonder if I think that they picked the wrong thing to highlight in their marketing,
Exactly. Yeah.
probably.
No, it's like
Yeah.
literally saying like I used iMovie to edit this entire movie, and then if people hated iMovie for some reason, then it's like a big boycott. And it's like, bro, I still made it. It was still created by me, but
Hmm.
yeah, hmm. Weird.
Interesting.
Yeah, I would say that's human unintelligence caused by AI.
Well, cool. I love it. I love reading about all the big
Interesting.
issues that people have with it. It's amusing to me.
It's just art. It's just creators. I don't know, man. Then again, this is coming from the only art I do is uh, drawing things that I can look at. So like looking up art that other people already created and copying it. So I don't really create my own art.
You're basically an AI.
I'm basically an AI. Yeah,
You just take everyone else's stuff and
the
copy it.
dark side of AI. AI is me. Cool. You ready for the actual dark side of AI?
I am. I think
So I
I
should have.
slightly disagree with you on the last one, but
Yeah.
I'll
No,
keep
that's
thinking
fair.
about it.
That's fair.
Yeah,
That's fair.
yeah. But I'm ready. I'm
I'm
ready. I'm
pretty
ready.
pro AI when it's like one of those things where it's like I don't think I'd be this for AI except for how much other people are against AI, and I'm like, guys,
Oh, there
chill.
you go.
I will now
You
defend it,
gotta
even though I wouldn't have in the past.
you gotta have a position, bro.
Yeah, so I should have like double checked if these were college students. I think they were. I think they were like in high school or college or something. But a couple people came together and they created X-ray glasses. They're called I-X-ray, and they're AI glasses that when you are walking like down the street or something, it will recognize a face, and then after like a few seconds, it'll pull up. You can pull up on your phone, and it'll send you on this app. It'll send you their names and addresses, and or their name, addresses, personal information, relatives' names, and more pictures of them as well, just by looking at them. And so we're already there. It just yeah, it just searches them online, and then a few seconds later sends it all to your phone. So they talked about how it worked, and they talked about how it's actually just literally video. It's just streaming to Instagram on your phone. And then there's an AI tool that they, I think, created that, or at least used, that recognizes any faces that happen to pop up on that. And then it'll take those, search any other faces related to them on Google. And then also through all that information, try to find like voter registration or anything else it can use to find all of that personal information. And then they coded a bit of an app as well, so that you could have the app on your phone and just be sent all of the information immediately. And so they're like showing it, testing it and stuff. And it's like one of those things that you're watching. It's like a science experiment kind of a thing where you're just watching them use it and they're laughing and the other people are like, what? How did you know that? But they also showed a bit of a creepy one where the guy was like in like a subway, and he like is kind of like, looking at faces that next to him, but then he goes over and sits on the bench as he waits for a second, and then he like pulls up the information, and then he kind of like went back and went to one of the ladies, and he's like, "Hey, you're some name or whatever," and she's
Oh
like, "Oh,
no.
yeah," and he's like, you're a professor at this school," and she's like, "Yeah, I am," and he's like, "Oh, you're one of my favorites. I loved your class so much," and she was like, "Oh, thanks," or whatever, and she like got all excited, and he was like, "Hey, yeah, it was good to see you," and they kind of kept walking, but he's like, "Dude." Like it's insane that it works that well as just to test it. And of course, a couple times like on campus too, it's like, "Are you this?" And they're like, "No," because there's a lot of similar looking people, and not everyone has much of an online presence. But for the most part, it worked pretty well. Um, it's the dark side of AI because of how well it works. But as far as this case specifically, they talked about it, and I'm just going to pull it up. I don't have to share it, but they have a Google Doc or Drive that I just have open, or Google Doc, and like 30 people are viewing it right now. But yeah, a couple builders, and oh no, I'm gonna completely pronounce those names. I'm not even gonna say them. A couple people. Special thanks to other people. Um, but they talked about the motivations for building it, the technical stuff, how it's possible with today with LLMs, and then, but they talked about how the purpose of building this tool is not for misuse, and we are not releasing it. Our goal is to demonstrate the current capabilities of smart glasses, face search engines, LLMs, and public databases, raising awareness that extracting someone's home address and other personal details just from their face on the street is possible today. Which, yeah, that was kind of their point in the end, which is why underneath all of that, they have a couple sections. One of them, the top one, is just called How to Remove Your Information. So they like listed a few of the main places online that will just have all of that information on there. And chances are, if you have much of an online presence, your information is probably on there as well, because they'll scrub a lot of other engines, and then all this AI has to do is scrub those places. So yeah, no, they listed off several face search engines, people search engines, and things. So that it was kind of this raising awareness thing. So it's the dark side of AI, knowing that this technology is out there, could be used for bad. But as far as these couple students, they like had it, but they're like, "We're not mass producing this. We're not giving this away. This is, it's for research or whatever." And then it's also for raising awareness so that you can know there's a lot of sites out there that have your information, and all someone needs is your face to be able to track it down. So if you don't want
Wow.
people knowing your address and your name and other job stuff and other, information about yourself just from seeing your face, then get some of that internet information cleaned up. But I like that they call them X-ray glasses as far as just um, looking into people's data. The AI
Yeah.
glasses that reveal anyone's personal details, home address, name, phone number, and more just from looking at them. Anyway,
Crazy.
yeah, I want them. I want them, but just
You
to
want
test them. I mean, I don't
them?
need them. I don't need them for diabolical purposes, but it sounds like a fun toy for anyone that doesn't have
Wild. Wild.
bad intentions. Yeah. Also impressive for them because I mean, it doesn't sound like they like coded a lot. They just kind of they were creative in the no, using all the tools that are already out there and
Yeah.
putting it
Yeah.
all together.
Totally.
So yeah.
Crazy.
Mhm.
Crazy. Again, Nathan, what are you doing with your life? Hmm?
I know. I know. I gotta do something.
Well, I know we're almost out of time. Thank you,
Minute
listeners.
left. Oh yeah. Thank you, listeners.